Okay.
I think we're ready.
All right.
Alright. Do you care if I record you?
I don't care. Shoes on the other foot for a change, isn't it?
I know.
Let me silence my phone just in case. I already had 2 annoying calls today. I don't need 3. What do I do? Oh yeah, that's right. Silent mode. There we go. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna ask you again. So it's on tape. Do you care that I recorded you today?
No.
And you realize everything is on record? Is that fine?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, and can you please state your name for me?
Kevin Kyle.
And could you spell that for me, please?
Kevinkyle.
Alright. So Kevin, how old were you when you discovered your love for music?
About 6.
And is that when you first picked up your guitar?
Well, I kind of had to badger for a little while, but yeah, right in that neighborhood.
And what inspired you though? Like
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix? Any specific song?
Yeah, he was lighting. Well, it was Monterey Pop Festival. He was lighting his guitar on fire. I told you I'm popular. It's my wife. You might want to.
You can. I can skip that.
Yo, what's up? No, I'm giving an interview for Ball State University's magazine. Surprise! Yeah, guess who's here? Sierra. No kidding. Yeah, she works for her university magazine now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's up? Not a word. I don't know. Give him a call. Okay. All right. Okay, bye-bye. Cindy says hi.
Hi.
She says hi back. Okay. Okay, bye. Bye-bye. End. Okay.
Alright, so back to Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
So after you saw that performance, you just knew that was it?
I thought that was the coolest thing I ever saw. And I said, yeah, I like that. So I thought it was great.
So did you start taking lessons right away after seeing that?
My mom bought me a cheap electric guitar at Kmart's and said, you're not going to try and teach yourself. You're going to do this. You're going to do it right. And so she found a teacher and got me started. And yeah, that's where it went.
How long did you take lessons for?
12 plus years. From the same guy.
Person?
The same guy. Yeah, she found me a hippie. And
really?
Yeah, well, it's 1968, see, so there were lots of them. There were lots of them. But actually, he was like the best teacher in the area, and he was recommended by everybody. And so she asked him if, he would teach me, and he said, I usually don't take little kids. But she said, well, just give him a try. So he gave me a try, and I don't know, I guess he liked me, so we kind of stayed hooked up forever, It was cool.
Do you still keep in contact with him?
I've talked to him a couple times via Facebook and things like that. We've kind of found each other after about 20 years absence when I left for California and things like that. But yeah, I reconnected with him here not too long ago.
So he's from around here? Or
He's in Michigan, where I'm from, because I was born in Detroit. So yeah, he's up there. He owns a music store called Huber and Breeze Music, which is where I started taking lessons at. And he's the owner, always has been the owner.
Wow.
And, yeah.
That's really cool that you guys can still keep in contact.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of feel like this whole situation with us.
Yeah, right?
What genres of music did you play? Did he let you choose what you wanted? Or
well,
was it
he
set?
started me with the book stuff. Just like I started
fun
you.
Stuff.
Just like I started. But see, at that age, you don't know any different. And so that kept me busy enough and I knew I had to learn the basics first, and I had to learn how to read. It was a different world back then. There was no internet. There was no computers. There was one way or the highway, and that was it. So I had to learn the traditional way. So I'm probably not near as, like the kids nowadays, how great they are, because they have all these tools at their disposal that we didn't have back then.
Yeah, I think that definitely makes a change, because now you can just look up whatever and...
And there wasn't tab back then either. I mean, it did exist, but it wasn't like it is now, where everything's in tab. You don't need to read music.
Was it just in books?
Yeah, it was all standard notation. I mean, I remember the Beatles Complete book. I mean, because my teacher was a John Lennon fan. That sucker was like this thick, and it was all standard notation, and it was all done for piano. So try playing Blackbird on guitar with it written out for a piano, and it's like, it's a guitar composed song. What's up with that? So anyway, it was just, everything was standard notation, so I had to learn how to read. And I'm glad I did, because I still can, and I'm good at it.
So you do think it stays with you if you learn?
As long as you use it. And I keep bringing it back, and people that go tab, 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 tab after learning how to read for 4 or 5 months or whatever my basic program is with them, they'll go tab out, and then I'll come back about 6 months later, go, you still remember how to read? And they'll look at me kind of sheepishly, and I'm like, bang, play it,
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Hopefully it's a good memory, right? What's your favorite kind of music to play now?
My favorite kind of music to play now? I'm still a rock head.
Ever since you were little?
Yeah, it'll always come back to that, I think. I mean, I like to play jazz and things like that, too. It all depends on my mood, I have fun with all kinds of stuff now. But yeah, I'd say rock.
Well, that's still a good choice. It suits you, I
I
think.
think so, too. I'd look kind of stupid running around looking like this if I was playing, like, straight-ahead businessman's type music.
How old were you when you first started, like, joining bands?
Oh, man. I think we were, like, in the 12 years old neighborhood, somewhere around there. I remember playing a Boy Scout jamboree when I was a little kid with me and my friend. We rehearsed in elementary school. It was I wasn't in that elementary school anymore, but I was in middle school. But we rehearsed in the cafeteria at the elementary school, because they had like a stage and little lights and things like that, and yeah, it was cool. So yeah,
your first experience as a rock star with the
Boy
Scouts.
With no bass player. That was great. We had 2 guitar players and a drummer. So I made a bass player out of my very first bass guitar out of my very first guitar. I ripped off some strings and I put bass strings on it and had to drill it out. I had to make my own bass.
Wow.
It sucked, but it worked.
But it worked, yeah.
And the 2 of us traded off playing it. Not like every song, but most every song. One of us would play bass on one song, the other would play guitar, and then we'd switch. And yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. And I tried to sing a few songs. Boy, is that a mistake still.
No. Did you guys play original stuff or just covers?
No, it was all covers, man, because there was so much cool stuff out there. I mean, we really were buried in things to play. I mean, 12 years old, we're playing Cream and Hendrix and Zeppelin. I mean, all the stuff that was popular back then, it was cool.
At 12 years old and in the Boy Scouts, did you just kind of like blow them away? Like, I just feel like many 12-year-olds don't.
But see, that's just it. It was a different time, I mean, that was playing that stuff. That's the stuff that was on the radio. That was back when you could turn on the radio and you could hear real music, not this manufactured crap that's out there now. I mean, you turn on the radio and you could hear all this stuff there was no such thing as classic rock then, because that was classic rock. I mean, that was rock. That was mainstream, man. Hotel California was either brand new or not out yet. You know what I mean? So, I mean, gotta remember, I'm old.
You are not old. How long did you play with him for?
Oh, man, Chad and I, we played. Gosh, I think we quit playing together 10th grade of high school, so probably 5 years, maybe.
Wow. Do you still talk to him?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. Yeah, he's a chef in Grosse Pointe, Michigan.
Wow, does he still play, do you know?
I think he noodles, but I don't think he seriously plays anymore. Because his work has really got him hopping.
I bet. So, did you ever travel with a band?
Are you kidding?
I have to ask.
You mean when I was little or just period? Oh, when I was little.
Like, when did that whole process start?
I started traveling like when I was 15, 16 years old. We when I got in that band Strut, when they commandeered me, and I started out as a roadie and then started playing with them too. And man, we were all over the place. We were in Detroit, Columbus, Toledo, Baltimore, Maryland. We were all over the place, you know. And I was pretty young then, doing that still, but I had to ask my mom.
You did.
If I could join it. She was scared to death, man, because all those guys were in their 20s, and they were the biggest, loudest band in Detroit at the time, and all they did was play clubs, and that was where the originals came in. Now, I really didn't write a whole lot. I just kind of played what they told me to, because I was just a kid, and they were all grown-ups and stuff. So.
And you said you traveled with them. When did you go to California?
I left for California on January the 10th, 1984.
Was that with the Strut?
That was Madam X. They came back. I was playing with Strut, and they came back home to Detroit for a Christmas thing, and one of the players had injured themselves, and they asked me if I would fill in, and I said sure. So I did. I just filled in for him for one gig at Harpo's Concert Theater in Detroit, and we did the show, and it went off really good. And then, of course, they came back like 5 days later. They came to our rehearsal space and said, "We got a proposition. Why don't you come to L.A. with us? We have a record deal." And I said, "Yeah." And do what? You got a guitar player. I mean, Max is great. She's awesome. You don't need me. I mean, she plays 3 parts at one time. What do you need with me? And they're like, "Oh, well, you can come out as a roadie, blah, 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 blah." And I said, "I don't want to be a roadie again." They're like, "Look, let's put it to you this way. Everything is going on in California right now." They're like, "Oh, dude, this band Motley Crue just got signed." And I was like, "What's a Motley Crue?" Nobody knew who they were outside of Hollywood. They just got signed. So they said, they're awesome. I mean, there's all this rock is happening out there. There's nothing happening here. Detroit is dead. You're dying here. We need to get you out there where you can make a name for yourself. And if coming out as a guitar roadie is the first step at it, I think that's a brilliant idea. So I said, okay, well, I'll talk to my parents about it, see what they think. And of course, I was, then I was old enough, and I was going no matter what anyway. But I wanted to make sure that they understood I wasn't like running away. And so they, we all went out there, and of course they had their deal and everything, and we played a bunch. We toured with Lita Ford and a few other people, had a blast, did our thing, and then the second record came out, and I think it sold about 5 copies. It was bad. It was bad. It was. I'm sorry, guys, if you ever see this, but it was. The second Madam X record was a terrible album. It was horribly produced, and it just didn't sell because they didn't promote it either. So, anyway, Don Arden, who's Sharon Osbourne's father, he was our manager. He saw fit to release us from our contract.
Wow.
And he gave us all plane tickets to go home. 3 went. The rest of us stayed. Toughed it out. Sleeping on couches. I slept on a couch for 6 months in an actor's house because he felt sorry for us. He was a fan of the band, and he said, "You don't have to leave, man. You can sleep on my couch." And I'm like, "Well, what about your wife, dude?" And he's like, "She'll get used to it." 3 of us slept in his den of his house. He's a well-known actor. His name's David Keith. He was in that movie Officer and a Gentleman and a bunch of other stuff. Anyway, yeah,